So we're gonna hop right into it. Once again, we are on Polypoid, so wait, hold on. Let me get the matchup. What are we playing? Barks versus SOS Toss is Terran versus Protoss. So we just went from a TVP, we're gonna go into a TVP. Again on Polypoid. We'll hop right into it. Let's go. In the top right corner of Polypoid, we have red dot SOS Toss. I assume the red is like a clan. They are playing the hot pink Protoss in the top right, opposite their opponent, Rubarks. In the bottom left, bottom right, playing the red Terran. Time to see what these players get up to. Well, that is a pylon scout, which can only mean one thing. There might be cheese. Because that is usually, you don't scout immediately on pylon, you wait for gateway. So if you scout on pylon, you really want to know where your opponent's at. Or sometimes you just go, you know what, I'm gonna scout early. Yeah, listen. I know my cheeses. No, this really isn't a cheese bomb. This is kind of an early scout. I wouldn't hate to see like a gas steal here. Because when you scout on pylon, you can gas steal if you first scout your opponent. At this point, Rubarks is typing up a Discord message. I don't know. I don't know anything about these people, so I probably shouldn't riff too much. But if I were a Terran player playing in CPL and I get gas stolen, I'm typing in general about how Protoss is an Imba race. But I don't play Terran, I play Protoss, so I get to look at this and laugh. I get to have a good time seeing this. Rubarks with the double barracks, which is unusual. And SOS Toss getting a bit of an extremely late assimilator, actually. But you know what? That's okay. Yeah, I like to see these games. Okay, yep. Killing the assimilator in the 500 years it takes to do that. Again, I try not to make too many judgments when I don't know like a player's background too much. So, or I don't know like what's going on in their head in the game, because usually like in TVP you only get the one barracks. Sometimes there's some pushes you can do that can be a single barracks, but oh man, really good pulls here by Rubarks, saving the marine health. Although sometimes you micro too fancy for your own good. This is not one of those cases. I mean, yeah, SOS Toss is just rallying zealots over, weakening the marines up. But there is a little bunker here, a little safe zone for them. Wow, actually. Okay, one marine does fall. So, see, this is what I'm not sure if Rubarks is going for a specific style here, where they are trying to it do be like that. So normally I don't like to rewind the replays back during the cast because you know, we are trying to get through a lot of games, but I'm really confused by that because if Reworks is saying like for as far as I can tell, they microed pretty well. Of course, this isn't like a first-person VOD, so maybe this felt like molasses to play through, but like they microed really well, and they're pretty, like I'd say they're pretty far ahead. Like Marines are really powerful, and like maybe there's like a quick. Yeah, see they died, and I'm confused, but hey, you know what? I don't know. Like I said, I'm really confused by that play because it felt like Rubarks traded really well with those Zealots, but then again, I don't know how healthy a 2 barracks play would be later in the game. Okay then. There we go. Oh wait, shoot! I'm supposed to. Oh, here we go. Yeah. So that was Barks versus SOS Toss. Pretty solid. Yeah, I would have liked to see that game play out a bit more because I was interested in what Barks was planning with the 2 barracks. I would have guessed a timing push since they seem to pretty much know relatively what they were doing. They had a good. They had really good micro, and they had a good placement with the barracks and supply depots, so you know, it's a 2 barracks that aren't from somebody who's new to the game. It's 2 barracks from somebody who like is planning a timing attack. Anyways, our next game is gonna be Barks versus Type 100, who is something. I didn't look at the races as I was loading the replay up, so we're gonna find out. It's gonna be a surprise. We're going to be looking at a Terran versus Zerg. So in the bottom right corner of Polypoid, we have our player Rubarks. And in the bottom left corner, we have Type 100, whose name is Bearcat1. It's time to see, I guess, the approach to this matchup. Let's see if Barks goes for maybe another type of bus style play, or like really aggressive early game stuff. We will see. Alright, supply depot and barracks on the low ground, so that barracks is either there so that the Marines don't have to run as far, or it's there so that Barks has a built-in wall as early as possible. Other than that, not really sure. Again, oh wow, yeah, another game where the first Overlord scouting in the correct direction proves beneficial. However, Barks does immediately scout to the left, so they also will see the base here. We have a hatchery first going down, I think. Yeah, this was... pretty sure this was hatchery first. That SCV is trying. It really wants to be a hero. Oh, don't give up, little buddy. You can do it. You only have 500 more HP to burn through. Oh, okay. So super fast lair, no Zergling speed. Really, I think I saw one pair of Zerglings. I don't even know where they're coming from. But yeah, super fast lair, so we're going to see a really early Spire. There they are. Nope. Barks is trying to mine his opponent's minerals, however it does not pay off. He does get the scout on the lair though, so that's going to be pretty huge. They have a little bit before they need to get the engineering bay up, but you know, they have time. Because they will need to get an engineering bay and missile turrets up. Yep, and here's another SCV scout, confirms that the lair is being built, sees the spire. If you clicked on it, then they would, oh, actually even just from the visual you can tell that the spire is only like kind of just started. So Barks has plenty of time to get their engineering bay and missile turrets up to defend from the mutas. But they do need to get it up. Creep colony. That creep colony seems a little far forward. I think usually you build them kind of like right here, like in line with the ramp, but yeah, because this seems like it's like a group of Marines can kind of just run up and snipe it out. I think ultimately it doesn't really matter as long as you have a line of sunken somewhere. You're going to defend from the first big push out. But oh man, not a lot of Marines. However, okay, yeah, forcing. Well, really, a 2 sunken should probably be going up right now, because they're going to hit before the mutas come out. That's enough firepower to probably work through at least 1 sunken. Oh, he's going for the 3rd. That's a really good call. The SCV scouting earlier probably saw this, and Rubarks can just come up here and deny this base. That is extremely good for them, and they do have missile turrets on the way back at home, so they will be safe from those. Oh, and they get the cancel, or they get the deny, not the cancel. That is huge. That is a lot of minerals that Type 100 really would rather have. Oh man, some Zerglings get into the main and try to start tearing at the SCVs building missile turrets, but they don't quite kill them all the way. So Barks will be pretty much safe from the muta harassment. These mutas are mostly, their main purpose now is probably just going to be harassing the Marines out on the map. Which it looks like they are going to be able to get some. Yeah. Yeah. In fact, the mutas are going to completely clean up this bioforce. Again, not Rubark's, like the bulk of Rubark's army. They didn't reinforce their army. They still have plenty back at home, but it does always hurt. Evolution Chamber is going down, but no Hydralisk Den yet. Usually the next phase for Zerg is to get into lurkers. Here come a couple mutas, try to wedge their way in, but again, great turret placement here from Barks. And the Marines are like, they've been staying at home to help put the damage out. Looks like all the Mutalisks do get out. They picked off maybe 1 or 2 SCVs, but they're very badly wounded, so they won't be able to do something like that for a while. Yeah, it seems like Type 100 is just really committing to the air game. With their flyer attacks, they are getting a Carapace upgrade. Yeah, so they're just skipping the lurker phase entirely. Which, with Barks kind of staying in their base, and they're dedicating to this sort of 2.5-ish bases since they don't have 3 up yet. A bit of a miss micro there. They miss about 1 shot from the Mutas. But again, the Mutas are just really keeping the Terran as far away from the Zerg base as possible, because the Zerg is going right up the tech tree, trying to skip the mid game and just force, like, I guess they're going to be going into Ultralisks. Ooh. Really good play here by Barks, where they are hitting they're attacking and then clicking on the Mutaflock so that the Marines single target 1 down instead of spreading their damage over a bunch of them. So that's really, really good stuff, you know. Because if you just do a normal attack move on like the ground or something, they will spread their damage out. When you stim and then you click A and then you click on the Mutaswarm, you'll pick at least 1 of them off. Yeah, Hive's on the way. And a second evolution chamber is coming, so yeah, Type 100 going straight into Ultralisks. And is probably going to be trying to barrel through Barks' bio army before they really have a chance to respond. The Mutas forcing as many stims as possible, limiting the medic energy. Doing a really good job at it. A lot of the medics are getting very low. Alright, double starport production about to start. Science vessel, the science facility is on the way. Swoops in, picks off Marine medic for a Muta, runs away, spreads the Marines out. Just tries to bait them as much as possible. Alright, Adrenal Glands is on the way. There's the Ultralisk Cavern, so yep. Rubarks has scanned a couple of times, so I've imagined they've scanned in the main. Doesn't look like they've scanned any of the bases, like any of the extra bases. A really nice move out, picks up a bunch of the free overlords. You just come in, snipe off a couple Marines. Again, their big plan right now from Type 100 is to just stay alive, get the Ultralisks out, and then run over the Terran before they really have a chance to have the tech they need to defend against Ultralisks. However, okay, they do have some overlords coming, so they aren't going to be supply blocked for too much longer. And as soon as they get out of the supply block, they will be able to just start spamming ultras. Okay. So Barks scanned in on the 3rd, and that is a really bad engagement there from Type 100. They just threw a lot of Zerglings away for kind of free, and they didn't really limit the amount of Terran that there was. They wanted to try and defend the 3rd, but they really just gave them the 3rd and a bunch of Zerglings. So the Mutas are going to try to come around and catch the reinforcing Marines. They catch a lot of them, but unfortunately, without lurkers, they don't really have the splash damage that they need to deflect bio attacks. And now you can see they don't have the income to support like Ultralisks. The upgrades are on the way. Like they've been good about that. So they're about to have +2 Carapace, and then the Ultras will have another +2 from Chitinous plating. He was going to try to pick off a floating engineering bay, but Barks is getting in position to try and overrun the base, which I don't think they will be able to do with the sunken colonies and Zerglings set up here. Of course, there's no defilers, so if Type 100 isn't careful, they Zerglings will get melted by the Bioforce, and it looks like they are not being careful. 2 Irradiates go down on the Ultralisks, taxing their health, and Rubarks has played basically, yeah, I mean, and with the firepower, with a couple more rounds of reinforcements coming up, you might be able to just break that base. I don't think, it doesn't seem like Rubarks knows about the top right. But if they do and that base gets denied, then it is only a matter of time for Type 100 to get completely knocked out. So Zerg on even bases with Terran, especially when those even bases are your main and your natural, it's not a pretty sight. Alright, Scourge coming out, scare the Science Vessels to the back, try to get on them, and they do get their 2 Science Vessels they were looking for. But now the big attack comes, like the big fight here, and yeah, you can tell that that armor on the Ultralisks is really letting them trade extremely efficiently with the Marines. Sounds like comp sets have been going down, so Barks doesn't seem like Barks has scanned top right yet, so they might be completely misjudging their position in the game. Yeah. Alright, big move out here from Type 100. And the Ultralisks are going to start putting in work on the Marines. But now, yeah. I was going to say that was the final bad engagement in a list of bad engagement. So there you go. I think Type 100's plan wasn't awful, getting right as far up your tech tree as possible, but I feel like this game was a really good case study in why lurkers are so important in the matchup. Or at the very least, why Ultralisks can't be a mid-game option. So we're going to exit that game, head to our next one. Which is going to be Barks versus Yorkie. Yeah. Which is going to be another Zerg versus Terran. Again on Polypoid, and again, we'll just hop right into it and see if Barks can go for the 2P on our Zerg players. Alright, let's switch over. And in our top right corner, we have M York 15. On the replay, their name was Yorkie, so I don't know if that's a discrepancy in what they're signed up for CPL as, or just to be safe, I'm just going to put York as their name. In the bottom right, we have Barks, or Rubarks. Yorkie scouting in the technically wrong direction for their overlord, but in this game it'll work out. Since they spawn they spawn vertical from each other, not horizontal. Don't know what those words mean. Yep. They're playing Starcraft all right. Ow. Seems so far so standard. We have some Zerglings poke out the front, but ultimately it looks like Rubark's kind of has a pretty solid position here. Is this tight? Huh. Dang. That's pretty neat. I didn't know that was like Ling and Marine tight. Alright, setting up 3 hatcheries. I'm guessing Ling speed first? Oh. Incorrect. I'm there's a spire. I assume York is going to be getting an engineering, or Barks is going to be getting an engineering bay pretty soon to defend from that. There's the first Marine push out. So York, of course, retreats, sets up their Tetris piece of sunken colonies. Well, I guess it's not a Tetris piece because there's only 3, but their Tritis piece. Yeah, not sure about that positioning because they can kind of take pot shots at the evolution chamber. I guess Barks kind of just goes, oh, there's 3 sunken colonies and backs away, and that's reasonable. They don't have range yet. Alright. As we're adding on our good amount of barracks, get the 3rd hatchery going up in the top left, or the 3rd base going up in the top left. And just as this spire spawns, we're going to see 6, 7 Mutalisks. What? Why? What is this? What is this upgrade? Burrow? My god. What is York planning? My god, he got not even getting Mutalisks, straight into 2 pairs of Scourge and a Queen's Nest. Okay. So we're also straight up skipping Lurkers, and this we're also skipping Mutalisks now. No, there's the Hydra Den. We're just skipping Mutalisks, which I'm not sure about that one, but we'll take it, I guess. Oh, there was a scan at that third, wasn't there? Well, that's gonna die now. Now we have the Tetris piece of sunken colonies. Unfortunately, we have the single piece of hatchery that is going to die. Hive is coming up now, so York is doing a very similar strategy as our last player, Zerg player, did, where it was like, hey, let's just go straight up into Hive. We don't need lurkers. And I believe we are going to be finding out that you do in fact need lurkers, but with the double Evo chamber, is York also going straight into Ultralisks? So we got scans going down, so he knows, Barks knows that there's a Hive, and I wonder if he played this game before or after the last one, because I feel like if it was after the last one, you scan, you see the Hive. Based on how the last game went, Barks must be feeling pretty confident. Especially since, you know, they're just playing super standard Terran, and that's gonna beat weird teched Zerg. However, York isn't skipping lurkers this game. They skipped Mutalisks, and lurkers are going to make them a lot safer. Yeah, they're going straight into Ultralisk 2. That is a weird strategy that I don't think, based on prior experience, is going to work too well. But we're going to have some lurkers built with the Ultralisks instead of Mutalisks, and that might be able to deal with the Bio Ball. But that's a pretty big Bio Ball. Adrenalings are on the way. Ultralisk Cavern is almost finished. We have a lot of banked gas for Ultras. Ooh. Really nice sneak out here by the Zerglings to try and backstab the Terran player. And there are four sunken colonies here. A lot of Marines are getting caught up on the evolution chambers. The Zerglings come back to surround the Marines, but again, it's really hard to fight a gun. I'm not sure if Barks is going to be able to push all the way. No, yeah, they definitely are. There isn't any reinforcing forces. Well, there's 6 Zerglings and 3 Ultralisks on the way, but these sunken colonies will fall. And I think at the same time, at the very least, these evolution chambers are going to die, and that's going to hurt for someone going crazy Zerg. A lot of Zerglings pouring in. They are able to trade pretty well with the Marines, but again, both evolution chambers go down, get the cancel, get the deny, not the cancel on the upgrades. 3 Ultralisks spawn out of very tiny hatched eggs. One of them is completely glitching out and dies. Unfortunately, Ultralisks can live a very long time, but not when they don't only have one armor upgrade. They do force Rubarks back, but Rubarks still has a lot of shooty boys. And now there are science vessels as well. So while round 1 wasn't able to seal the game, round 2, with tech support, probably is. You can see Rubark's even paying extra attention, scanning at the possible thirds, make sure that Zerg hasn't taken anything. And is, you know, once that happens, they're going to be feeling really confident, and they're going to push out and try and seal the game. See some irradiates pop on these boys. Or just they'll get gunned down. Because again, they do not quite have their full carapace upgrades yet. Ooh, Scourge come in, are able to grab 1 science vessel. But with double bunkers up, I don't think the Zerglings will get torn to shreds. If they could engage, they'd be doing a lot of damage, but they unfortunately are melee attackers. York is doing a good job of keeping their Ultralisks count healthy for what it is, but you know, a couple of Irradiates and they're kind of just killed for free. And Rubarks is going to be able to walk across the map. And yeah, I mean, I'm not going to, this isn't going to be like an A move victory, especially if these Scourge are able to have good connections. One goes in, yep. Unfortunately, a lot of them jump on just a single Science Vessel. When Irradiate goes down, these Ultralisks, with their specialized Chitinous plating upgrade, they're extremely tanky, but they will eventually fall because medics are a really good unit. However, they might be able to push up and deny the Evolution Chamber upgrades again, and if they do, that is an insane tempo win for Rubarks. Or they might come up here and take out the third. Either way, it really is like York needs to find a way to get themselves out of this situation if they want the game to continue, because otherwise they are going to just eventually get completely overwhelmed by the swarming Terran bio. Scourge come out. They are going to barely don't pick off a Science Vessel. More Scourge fly right over the Marines, and one connects. Yeah. And York calls GG, and Rubarks takes it. 2-1. That's Rubarks' story that's Barks' story through the first week of CPL, of preseason. Terran beat the Zerg, lost to Protoss, tale as old as time. Our next game is going to be SOS Toss versus Mutaman. I'm guessing a Protoss versus Zerg. It's a Protoss versus Zerg. One moment, and we'll get it started here. Alright. Here we go, hop right into it. SOS Toss versus Mutaman on a PVZ on Polypoid. Switch that over there. Alright. In the top left corner, we have SOS Toss in the red Protoss with, I'm guessing, the clan name red. In the bottom left corner, we have our yellow Zerg player, Mutaman, who I am very curious to see what they build this game. Oh boy. Oh man. Apparently we aren't playing our games in the chronological release order, since SOS Toss has already played Type 100. gateway first here from our Protoss player. A really quick probe scout. Guess they just really want to be sure where their opponent is. Unfortunately, they aren't going to find them for very long. A trick that someone told me about Polypoid is that when you scout, when you build your pylon or you build your gateway, you want to scout like in the middle base here, so at the 6 o'clock or the 3 o'clock, because much like how on circuit breakers, when you send the probe across the map after the pylon to see if your opponent is on the other side of the map, you can check here real quick, see if your opponent is on the same side of the map. Because if you see the Overlord, well, you know they're down here. If you don't see the Overlord, then they have to be in one of the other two positions. But it saves some scout time. And having exhausted all options, the Zealot immediately rallies down. But there are 6 Zerglings on the way, so he won't be able to get too much other than maybe trading pretty well with Zerglings. And then we're going to have that Zealot built, and then another Zealot. And then the Nexus should be on 21. Yeah. Ooh, an unfortunate engagement from the looks of things. Probe and a Zealot for a single Zergling is not too effective. But the Nexus will go down, and... Okay. Oh. That is the unfortunate thing. If you lose your first... oh no. So the Zerglings are going to get right on top of here, and Mutaman is in a position every Zerg wants to be in, where you have Zerglings in the base, your opponent isn't even close to getting cannons at their natural, a lot of minerals are like being floated by them. Never mind, I was going to go on about what a great position Mutaman is, but apparently SOS Toss like borrowed Bisu's probes for a moment to defend himself. So, you know, just literally styling on every other Protoss player. It's like, oh wait, you have problems with Zerglings? Why don't you just wiggle them around, wiggle your probes around a little bit? It's like, no, not everyone can do that, Bisu / SOS Toss. Why are you in the CPL? Alright. Well, Zealots almost got caught out in the middle of the map. Mutaman, despite their name, has not started mining gas to get mutas yet. I'm starting to have my suspicions they're not a Mutaman. There's the gas, there's the lair. The mutas will be coming, they just seem to be a little delayed. Alright, with the Cybercore finishing, we should probably see a Stargate coming out pretty soon. As well as maybe some cannons added on just to be safe. SOS Toss has kind of been in the dark for a lot of this game. Ever since they lost like that first probe and Zealot, they haven't really been out on the map to see what Mutaman is up to. So you know, you have to play a little safe, right? You always have to just assume that if you don't have information, that there's a Hydra bus coming. Which honestly, it's possible there is. The Hydrogen has started, so Mutaman might be going... Mutaman, his name He might have like started playing Brood War and picked his ID just for this specific mind games. Because this layer's done. We're at 200 minerals. I don't see a Spire yet. My God. The actual mind games coming out of our Zerg player right now. They picked their ID. They've played as Mutaman, but they were actually Hydra Man. That's gonna be very scary for SOS Toss coming up here. These Hydra busts are the actual worst. See, there's even cannons being built in the main. SOS Toss thinks he has it figured out. He says, "I've downloaded the Matrix. I see what your name tag is. There's gonna be mutas. I'm gonna build photon cans ahead of time." And then flies over, sees no Spire, sees a Hydra Den. Cry. Temps are put to harass the Overlord, but unfortunate. He almost was a cool Corsair who lives with 1 health, but instead he sucks. Wow, is that actually going to get an Overlord? No, it can't possibly. Yeah, SOS Toss playing really well. They scanned over, they saw there's no Spire, and really, the big thing about Corsairs, if you aren't dedicated into going into Corsairs, you don't really want a lot of them, because their main purpose is to prevent your opponent from going for a huge Mutaflock and like being able to snipe High Templars and stuff. Because if you're not really dedicated to Corsairs, you're probably in the middle to late game, you're not going to be sniping Overlords unless they're way far out of position. So coming over, seeing there's no Spire, and then just stopping Corsair production is a really good move. Like going straight into like observatories and stuff like that to help fight the Hydralisks. Not so sure about the Dragoons yet, but they will help. What SOS Toss probably is going to really need is going to be Storms, because that is a lot of Hydralisks, and at the very least, SOS Toss is absolutely going to lose this Forging Gateway. I mean, in theory at least, if Mutaman comes up. Okay, yep. So we're going to try to poke at it. Doesn't quite work. The Templar Archives is now underway. SOS Toss is going to try to come out here. Now, we did see, I think it was just Overlord speed upgrade. I thought it might have been drops, but I was like, no, that would be silly. Hydras are going to come up. Zerglings are going to try and come up and also get some DPS put out. A lot of Dragoons are going to fall, but as the Zealots come up to supplement them, they will be able to push Mutaman back. As just everything, the fight kind of ends up pretty good. However, as the Zealots dry up, the Dragoons are going to be much less effective versus the Hydralisks than the Hydras are against Dragoons. One gets picked off because Dragoon... Oh no, that's a bad rally. Oh no. Templar... Storm starts and Templars are on the way. I think Mutaman is just going to probably need to keep rallying Hydralisks. although they seem to mostly be, yeah, they're running a bit of a deficit on their gas. They have extractors, however, only one drone is mining there. There's no drones on the one in the natural, so the gas production from Mutaman has been a little lackluster this whole game. Lurkers are going to try to jump in, get on top of the Dragoons. However, there is an observer in play. Lurker will force the Dragoons back. However, I mean, with observers, SOS Toss does have the room to probably push forward and take the fight out of his base. The DT thinks he's sneaky, but he is not. Unfortunate. Mutaman getting their 4th base up, they're mineral only. And the Lurker contain is, I mean, holding pretty strong, actually. With, you know, a couple of High Templar, SOS Toss definitely has the big storm on the Hydras. SOS Toss definitely has the, had the units to break out. He needs to be really careful. The Hydras are going to come in, jump on top of the cannons, and they're going to be able to tear them apart very quickly. It looks like the Zealot is going to momentarily... the High Templar just barely. Huge storm on the Hydras, no marker. That is an insane storm, actually. That is not a CPL storm. Those are RSL storms, if I've ever seen them. The Lurkers are going to try to just get right up into the probe line, but unfortunately I think they're diving a little too deep. Oh man, if the target fired on the probes, that would have been an extremely powerful play, but they got baited out into attacking this way and did not get really any damage done. That was a lot of Lurkers and a lot of Hydralisks thrown away for not a lot of permanent damage. And the Overlords come to reinforce, but I mean, there's Dragoons here, and they're going to be picking them out. Hydras come up, but between the Dragoons, the Archon, and the Zealots, I don't think they're really going to be able to do much. Yeah, I mean, there are just a lot of Overlords dying. It looks like Mutaman is actually going to be supply blocked here, and pretty, not severely, okay, just missing one Overlord out of being supply blocked, but that is going to be harsh. Unfortunately, the taxing on Mutaman's micro and trying to maintain an army together is really punishing them, as they are. They've been missing a lot of macro cycles, unfortunately, as they've been focused on trying to get their army in good engagements. Okay, good pickoff on the Observer, and yeah, Mutaman will be able to deny SOS Toss from getting this base up. For at least, no, they won't, unfortunately. If they focus fired the Nexus, they might have gotten the kill on it, but as it is, yeah, looks like SOS Toss is pretty much able to, you know, get in a very comfortable position. Even their Corsairs coming out for some action, ready to shoot some Overlords. 20 Hydralisks in production, if that tells you. Hate to see it. Because usually when numbers get that high, it's a sign that the Zerg hasn't gone back and looked at their base in a while. However, it is 20 Hydralisks, so you can't complain too much. Both players in pretty decent positions, although with the contain gone, yeah, that's not happening. Mutaman, you get back, you run away. Take your 4th, get your 5th base. There you go. That's it. He's doing good. And we're going to expand into a larger, healthy mid-game, as Mutaman and SOS Toss are now taking the fight outside. Okay, SOS Toss getting their 4th base up, or importantly their 3rd gas. Some Overlords. Oh, okay. Corsair is going to live. It is not a good day to die, for he is not going to die. He's immortal. Yeah. Well, the observers really overextend, but there's no Hydralisks here, so them dying doesn't really matter. Corsair's going to try to get some damage done while the Hydralisks are busy. Looks like they'll at least force the Overlords to retreat. I mean, yeah, the Zealots and Dragoons are just going to tear through this Hydralisk army, but the reinforcements might be able to clear it up, especially as the Lurkers start hatching up. Oh yeah, no, yeah, the reinforcing Hydralisk, once that Zealot falls, the Dragoon should die fairly quickly. I'd like to see a storm on the eggs here, but unfortunately the Templar gets picked off before it can matter. There it is. Unfortunately, the Lurkers do hatch and go back right up to full health. With the Observer up here, it is possible. I mean, nah. Hydralisk on the way. Storm angles catches some of the backline Hydralisks, but unfortunately, Mutaman will win that fight. Or SOS Toss is getting their next base up, so they're looking all right. The drone here for Mutaman is in position, so as soon as they can spare the APM, they will have that base. And the Panda here is really, or the Ursidon is really just here to mess up pathing. He's blocking this so that the Dragoons can't come up the ramp. This has been an infested Ursidon. It is, it's offering its life for the swarm. Let's see. Really nice high Templar count. Really, I mean, yeah, we're getting into some pretty high Templar numbers. Those two are going to try to become an Archon, but they decide against it. And then change their minds. Nexus finishes up. Man, SOS Toss has really been lacking in the economy game. They're nearly 20 minutes in, and they're only just now breaching 30 probes, which you hate to see it. Mutaman is a bit healthier on 40. Mutaman really just trying to get in position to deny the next Protoss base, which is a good plan, you know. A single probe tries to run over here to build this and just gets shot down and dies immediately. Oh ho ho! We have drop lords. That was looking like a pretty open dropping space to me. Have a full control group of Hydras slammed up in the main. Yeah. At the same time, an attack going off on the third, distracting SOS's army. So they're going to drop into the main, easily take out that cannon, and just really start doing economic damage. As Mutaman is going to try to force his way up into the third. However, SOS Toss is dedicating most of his army here to defending this base, leaving his main actually very vulnerable. If this had been like 6 full Overlords, this would have been a near game-ending blow. Unfortunately, it was only about 12 Hydralisks, so there's only a limit to how much damage they'll be able to do. They get a gateway, they get some pylons, but ultimately it will get cleaned up by SOS Toss running back into his base. Man floating, still not mining. Is this? Again, it is a problem. Sometimes when you're playing the game, There he goes. He heard my voice from the future and went, "What? How am I still not mining gas for my expansion?" and sent the drones down. It's one of those things where when you forget about it early on, you don't think about it later, and so you don't remember to, like, there's no way for you to notice that you forget about it, because how often 21 minutes into the game are you checking, did I put 3 drones on gas? Because you just assume you did. So now that their gas production has gone back up to normal levels, they probably will be able to start reinforcing their army a lot better, but it might be a little too late, as the army here from SOS TOS is massive, it's red, and it wants to kill some Zerg now. Oh my gosh, could you imagine a storm on these Hydralisks? Fortunately, they can't and they won't. So this is a charge right up into the 5th base here. They're going to take it. And a bunch of these Hydralisks coming in are going to take out a lot of these High Templar. A couple storms go down, but the Hydras move deftly out of the way, only losing a couple. But ultimately, yeah, that space will die, and a huge chunk of the Hydralisks will go with them. They nearly got those High Templar, but they morph into an Archon just in time. And SOS TOS might have the maneuverability they need to also run up this ramp to take this base out. But the Hydralisks coming back from Mutaman are going to try to stop them. It was a big clump of Hydras, but it looks like all the High Templar have been morphed into Archons with the main army. So actually, the SOS TOS might just be able to start running across the map. He's getting plasma shields. Hold on. Oh, he does have full armor, so he has the spare time. Archons can clean these Zerglings up really nicely. Zealots and Dragoons will chew through the Hydralisks. So let's see the upgrade. Yeah, SOS TOS has a massive upgrade advantage. Takes that base out, and actually could even just, yeah, Mutaman leaves the game, and that's it. That was a well played ZVP, PVZ. Congrats to SOS TOS for the win. Congrats to Mutaman for defying expectations as to what kind of a player he is. I was expecting full air unit superiority from that game. But we'll move on to our penultimate game, Type 100 versus SOS TOS. And another PVZ to see if SOS TOS can keep it up and win this one too. Here we go. Right into it. Switching to Starcraft. Yeah. Alright. In the top right corner of Polypoid, we have Type 100 playing as the dark green Zerg Brood, coming to avenge their fallen Mutaman Muta brothers. And their foe in the top left once again is SOS TOS with the red Protoss tribe. Apparently, Eon Zerg was playing Larva on stream. That's pretty cool. That sounds like a good game. Y'all should go find that. I don't know when they played this, but Larva's a great player. Eon Zerg's a good player. So, like, Larva's an ASL champion now, which is hilarious to think about. That man played StarCraft using his feet, and he's the world champion now. So, things to aspire towards. SOS TOS moving his Overlord in this direction over here. Actually, wait, no, hold on. Wait. I fucked up. No, I gave bad advice earlier about scouting, how you scout like circuit breakers, where you go to the middle thing. It's, you have to go to the one, like if you're in this position, you have to go here to see if they're there. If you're in this position, you have to go here to see if, yeah, because you have to reverse scout where the Overlord is supposed to go. Like here, where the Overlord is heading in the correct direction, and we'll find SOS TOS going for a Forge Fast Expand. Meanwhile, Type 100 is going for what looks like an overpool. So we might see some aggression coming out of here. And SOS Toss, having scouted that, throws up a cannon for safety and should be pretty safe from the overpool shenanigans. I also just realized I haven't updated the stream title in 2 groups, so I'm going to have to do that. I have 2 streams titled. Alright. Alright, good play here by SOS Toss, keeping the drone from building the hatchery for as long as possible. Forcing it to the second one to be built on the 3rd location. Oh, yeah. Oh, but as the drones, Zerglings come out, the probe is going to have to stop playing games and run home. Oh. Oh, wow, it's pylon. Interesting. Alright, there's the gateway, and now the Zerglings kind of just have to sit outside and stare angrily at the Protoss. Right. Here's the other scouting probe. Going to check what the Zerg is doing. If we're going for a Hydras or Mutas. It's very important information to know. And Type 100 hasn't really been making a lot of extra Zerglings, so the probe should be able to get in. Ooh, 2 Mutas on the ramp. Looks like, ooh, the probe barely squeezes its way in. And yep, there is no lair yet, but Zergling speed is on the way. In fact, he took drones off of gas. So I think Type 100 is just going to maybe be dedicating to a full Ling Flood to try and end the game as early as possible. You know, SOS Toss is going to come down here, scout, see that there's just more drones mining at the 3rd. And yeah, Type 100 is completely foregone getting gas, so alright, let's see. With the probe dying, is there any change to the game plan here? See a lot of drones being made. But at the same time, I don't think this strategy from Type 100 is going to work out. I mean, that's a pretty good wall. The Zealot's set up in a nice position. SOS Toss is making Dragoons, though, for some reason. I just don't think that a Ling Flood is going to really be able to do much here with the extra cannons set up. Yeah, that's odd. I mean, he's getting a lot of drones now. So unless he's playing a long game where he's just foregoing gas and maybe calling his opponent's bluff that SOS Toss isn't going to try to move out and punish him for this. Okay, but he goes back to remining gas. It might have just been a simple mistake. Oh, we have word that the Dragoon was made to kill the Overlord inside the main. That makes sense. Ah, it's because it seems that Stargate's being skipped, so that does make sense. Unfortunately, the wall is too good. It even prevents SOS's own units from getting inside. And also the Overlord is just slithering out, flying away, as it would, as a giant thing filled with gas and whatever other stuff. really like that I forgot that there's camera hotkeys in replays. Okay, I'm gonna stop because that just probably looks awful as a viewer. Yeah, SOS Toss getting into a healthy mid-game. Type 100 is also. I'm starting to think that them not mining gas was just a misplay, or a really effective mind game. Except the mind game wasn't against their Protoss opponent, it was against me, the caster. Big engagement out here in the middle. The Hydralisks are wasting a lot of damage on the Zealots. The Zealots are such a powerful unit. Really a huge brunt of the Hydra force. I mean, you really don't want the Hydralisks engaging like Zealots head-on on the Zealots' terms. I mean, there's enough cannons up here. It looks like the front should be pretty much defensible from SOS Toss. So yeah. Huh. Alright, they're gonna try to a Brood War AI moment as the cannons shoot at the Hydras. They immediately forget what they're doing and stop attacking. Well, a DT is going to sneak his way out of the main. Some drones are going to work their way across so that Type 100 can build some hatcheries and start reinforcing straight from the mineral only. Or, unfortunately, more likely, it was just a bad route. Looks like Hydra range is just about finished, so now Type 100, once that's done, Type 100 will be able to actually start pressuring the gateways and forges. Till then, however, at the same time, the High Templar are just coming out. They have Storm has been researched, it's finished, so we have a pair of Storms here ready to shoo the Hydralisks away. I think Zealot Legs has also been researched, and Armor and Singularity Charge are also both on the way. So honestly, it's looking pretty good for SOS Toss as soon as they can bust out of here and get out on the map. At the very least, they aren't going to die. Queen's Nest coming from Type 100. Our players are neck and neck in economy. So the production of both players is going extremely well for them. Nice Storms have to force the Hydras to move back out of position. And SOS Toss is going to continue just doing it. Just doing Protoss stuff. Getting their way out of the game. Moving, trying to break the contain so they can start taking extra bases. And just being generally comfortable and okay with life. Lurker aspect about finished, and robotics facility on the way for our Protoss player. So, observers should probably be out in time to deal with lurkers. And even if they are a little late, there are plenty of High Templar here to storm the lurkers while they are underground and hopefully kill them. SOS Toss. Really nice concave here from the Hydralisks, but Zealots are extremely beefy. Very nice storm. Really just, oh my god, really great storm placement. Absolutely melting the Hydralisks. Type 100 doing their best to micro out of them, but that was a lot of High Templar, and they are going to just keep doing it. It looks like Type 100 might come out on top in this engagement, but SOS Toss still has a couple of Dragoons alive. Some Zealots can still come up. But yeah, the Archons kind of get deleted. I'm wondering where... I know he had a lot more High Templar than that. They might have been just shaved off by the Hydras by some mismanagement. But that is an unfortunate attack there, actually. I thought for sure SOS Toss was actually going to bust out of their contain. But it looks like Type 100 is able to maintain it for just a little bit longer. And also, really, you can kind of tell the story of the game from the macro. SOS Toss is floating nearly 1,700 minerals. Supplies are basically even. Zerg is a bit ahead, and as I am contractually required to say this every time it happens in a game, if the Zerg is even or ahead in supply, they're winning the game. Because Zerg units, pound for pound, like supply for supply, are all cheap as hell. Yeah, so Hive is on the way and Defilers are coming. You can see a bunch of Lurkers being prepped, but Observers are out, so they're mostly just, they can be dealt with. It's just going to be very hard. Oh man, these Zealots are going to get shredded by the Lurkers up here. Well, they don't get the best angles. The Lurkers don't get the best angles, so SOS Toss might have some room here to actually work their way out. So you really do need a high number of Lurkers, yeah. Let's see what the upgrades are. We have 1-1, incoming 2-2, and we have 1-2 with no incoming upgrade for the Zerg. Okay, Observer gets picked off. That's pretty big. That means SOS Toss is going to have to replace that before they can try to move out again. And Type 100 has a mineral-only base, so their 4th is up. And they're just going to keep reinforcing with Hydralisks. Doesn't look like SOS Toss has an Observer in production. I mean, they build pretty fast, so it's not too big of a deal. As soon as one starts, it'll basically be out here, but it's going to be very annoying dealing with these Lurkers. Is this a storm drop? No, a DT drop going into the main of Type 100 with no Overlord here, and what looks like a Spire coming down. This DT, as long as he doesn't hit any of these buildings and only hits drones, Type 100 will not be alerted. And yeah, there we go. The Hydralisks do catch the shuttle, and they think they've scared it away, but the drones continue to die. They do get transferred, and this DT will have 7 kills. 8. Okay, he's going to have 8 kills. That's a lot of drones. It puts SOS Toss ahead in the worker count. But when you're only on 2 bases, that matters a whole lot less, especially when the Zerg can just build 5 more drones and be okay. Okay, yeah, the High Templar are in the back, and you really need the High Templar to throw the storms on the Lurkers to soften them up. SOS Toss tries for a big breakout. It looks like this one is actually going to work. These drones, the bad rally, they try to help, but they just can't. The High Templar died actually. Ooh. SOS Toss. Toss's army is a bit staggered, so he loses a lot of Dragoons kind of for free, but the contain does end. They are able to break out and prevent, they're going to be able to get out on the map and start actually making moves. Okay, good storm comes down. Yeah. Tosses +3 armors on the way, while Hydralisks are working on +2, +3. I think, right? Ooh. Yeah, +2, +3. Yep. Once the Observer comes into position, the Lurkers will be able to be dealt with by the Dragoons and force Type 100 to just completely bring his army back and adopt a more defensive stance. However, with Defilers on the way, Type 100 has gotten into their very late game, their bigger tech, while SOS Toss is trying to establish their mineral only to replace their main, which has been mined out by now. Type 100 once again in the lead supply-wise. As a Zerg is not a great position for a Protoss player. especially with Consume and I'm assuming Plague on the way. SOS's army is going to have like a permanent health debuff on it from this point going forward. Storm goes down, does decent damage, but the High Templar is going to get picked off, and the Hydras are going to run away with mostly intact Hydra army. Going to take a fight over the Lurkers, which are going to help, but not do quite enough to save the Hydras. They're just going to keep coming up, keep poking, and keep trying to make something happen. Maybe see a Plague like on the mineral line. Then one single Zergling comes in and just kills them all in a couple of seconds. Yeah, SOS Toss just checking up there, make sure that Type 100 doesn't have a base in that direction. But yeah, I'd really like to see the Plague or something. I don't know, we have two, oh, actually, nope, it's going to be some Dark Swarm stuff. We have Zerglings, we're going to have Ultralisks coming down. SOS Toss is probably going to need to start getting, like, turning a lot of these High Templar into Archons to deal with this switch. Okay, the re-rally on the Zerglings is going to take care of this base, and that should actually be GG. Looks like Adrenalings, they're going to just start tearing through things. And once they start doing that, well, this reinforcement wave, like the Defilers and Lurkers and Hydralisks are just like always delayed. And it looks like SOS Toss has almost no army supply, and it is going to get cleaned up. SOS Toss calls the GG, and Type 100 takes our penultimate game, our last game before our final match, which is coming right up. It's going to be Type 100 versus York, or Yorkie. Again, I'm not entirely sure because it's Yorkie in the replays. I don't know if that's a difference between their CPL name or what, but it's going to be a Zerg versus Zerg. So we're going to end this group in one of the best matchups, in my opinion, of course. I have to preface it with that. So let's hop right into it and see which Zerg is best. Trick question. Or actually, there are many schools of thought onto which Zerg is best. In the bottom right corner, it's cross spawns, so we're definitely going to have a weird ZVZ. In the bottom right corner, we have why is Yorkie Mutaman? Wait. Now I'm just confused because the replay is Type 100 versus... Is Yorkie Mutaman? Oh man, now I feel bad. I haven't been using Mutaman for the names, if that's the right one. Anyways, in the bottom right, we have Mutaman playing as the Brown Zerg Brood versus his opponent in the top left, Type 100, playing as the green, dark green Zerg Brood. I can only assume Mutas may actually be involved in this game. We will see. Both players going for, again, looks like the exact same build order. They get up to 9, they get an Overlord, nothing too unusual about that. Type 100 scouts in the technically correct Overlord scouting position. Mutaman scouts in the technically incorrect, but it'll work out because the Overlords will see each other and high five and let each other know where their bases are. Mutaman goes for an extractor and a spawning pool. So we're going to have some very fast speedlings coming out of Mutaman. Extractor finishes. Some first 3 drones are going to go up to the mine. Yep. And now I'm going to guess every single larva after this is going to be dedicated to Zerglings. Oh, actually, it's an extremely fast layer, which does mean we will see mutas. So Mutaman will be living up to their name in this game. Just need to defend from any potential attack coming out of Type 100, and they're good to go. Of course, it looks like Type 100 isn't even planning on trying to like go for an attack, as they're just going to set up some Zerglings on the ramp to make sure nothing can run by and kill them. And yeah, that's actually going to be huge for Mutaman, because Type 100 will not know, cause since they don't know what's going on in each other's main, Type 100 will not know that really fast Mutalisks are on the way. Yep. Yeah, you see drone is in position to make the Spire. Starts immediately after. And yeah, Type 100 doesn't have anything prepared. Yeah, they're getting another hatchery. They really need to start the evolution chamber so they can start getting spore colonies, but yeah. They're going to try to bust Mutaman with a bunch of Zerglings, but attacking up a ramp into okay. I've seen better Zergling concaves, but it'll work, right? Run out to pick one. And then a drone is going to move out and try to take an expansion. That's extremely risky. Yeah, Type 100 should just have a more. And that's going to force a lot more no, actually. Yeah, that's going to force more Zerglings to be built from Mutaman. Because if they don't, they will just lose here. Nope, they're waiting. Yeah, okay. Two pairs of Zerglings on the way, but there's still 5. Yep. Mutaman GG's. That's going to be a game. Type 100 takes it. Very convincing match. ZVZ, it be like that sometimes. Go to our splash here. So, Type 100 did really well, winning 2 of their games. Barks won 2 of their games. SOS Toss won 2 of their games. So, yeah. Great play from all of our players, and